All right. Hi, and welcome back to Dynamic Character Productions. We are back again with another exit interview for Survivor Monte Carlo. Morgan and Lilly and I are joined tonight by our 14th place finisher, Mr. Micah Johnson. Micah, how are you?
Um, I'm good right now. Uh, at the time of being uh, blindsided, really, I wasn't great. So we've recovered since then. So
Yeah, before we started the recording, I asked Micah, a question about the game or something related to the game, and you could tell immediately when I mentioned his round that he went out that his smile dropped, and it brought back some ugly memories maybe. But my name's Ian Moorhead. I'm one of the hosts. I'm joined as always by my co-host Morgan Jackson. Morgan, how are you?
Doing great. Always excited to talk to our contestants and get the lowdown on all the stuff that we didn't see or hear about in the episode.
And Lilly Petzold is joining us this season for our exit interview queen. Lilly, how are you?
I'm good. I'm ready to crack into it. Is that a saying? I'm just going to start saying that now.
back into it, yeah.
Yeah.
Patent pending.
Yeah. There we go. So, Micah, this isn't your first game, online game, correct?
Correct. I've done one mini with Zoomviver, but this is my first long game. And so definitely a different kind of style. Definitely kind of out of my wheelhouse of what I've experienced before.
Mm-hmm. So did that change your strategy going in, knowing it's has a not completely different setup, but there's a lot that's different from your Zoomviver experience?
Yeah. So going into it, how I did in Zoomviver kind of like helped me kind of gauge on how I wanted to play this game, but I felt I didn't follow that at all. I'll be honest, because like even in my intro video, like I said that like I would be under the radar and kind of like be quiet, but then it was a lot different than getting into the game, and then like not a lot of things were happening on my end at least, where then I felt like I kind of had to like take some charge. And I think that was my downfall as well, where it's like, oh, I felt very comfortable. I felt like I was in a power spot. And all of a sudden, like I was blindsided out the door. Everyone voted for me except one other person voted for Mike. So I was like, I was also thrown by that too. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think a great thing that you pointed out is in these long games, right? They last about 39 days, is it still gives you time to get paranoid or to feel like it's not moving in the right direction. And it kind of seemed like that might have been what happened, that vote out, is that you guys had, I think, a couple days to, did I make that up? You guys had a couple
No,
days, or
yeah.
at least over a day until the tribal. So it was
Yeah.
enough time. It seems like, in the episode, we don't get a lot of like what kind of decisions people are going through. We just see there's like 20 different versions of what could happen and then what did happen. So do you
Yeah.
think that played into maybe how you got blindsided?
Definitely. I remember at that moment, like we were all kind of being shy because like the tribal beforehand, we all did Julia because like she wasn't very present in the game at the time. We all felt bad about it, but like it was like this is going to be an easier vote because no one has that like strong connection with Julia, where like other people are wanting like have made that effort and are here to play the game and want to like play, and so it's like that. But then so people were like beating around the bush when it came time, when after we lost the immunity challenge, where um people weren't throwing out names, at least towards me, and so like people were like kind of hiding and like I don't want to take charge, and like it was getting down to crunch time. I remember where it's like, okay, we need to come up with something, and I knew that the merge wasn't going to be next, and like we were going to still be together probably the next time. So I was like, okay, we can't just think about this vote. We also have to think about the next vote as well, like the next immunity challenge, because we'll probably still be together, and how to hold our tribe to a strong aspect, where I thought I was a stronger person in one of the challenges, and I held my own. And like I also supported people, so like I was kind of like the team cheerleader as well. But apparently, like I showed like that vote out, I definitely showed my cards way too much, where I was like, okay, I'm throwing out, like I didn't want to be the one throwing out names at all, no, but I definitely was like, okay, gotta get the ball rolling somehow. Like I'm not close with Kyle. I'm not close with, like, looking at the weak people, like Victoria doesn't seem like she's very strong at some of these challenges that we've done. So I was like, okay, how about like this? Like I'm not close with him. I'm like, I just want us as a unit to move forward, so then we could have numbers. Otherwise, we're going to be down in numbers and then we'll just be picked off. So I wanted to kind of work with my group in a way to not hurt us in the long run, but it ended up hurting me. So
Who would you say you were closest to on the tribe?
I thought I felt closest to like Jonathan and McKenna, partly because like they seem level-headed at times. I know McKenna was a little frazzled right away when we got into our tribe because her name was being thrown out at that first tribal with no tribe. So she was kind of, and this is her first org as well. But like I felt like I could work with her, and I could work with Jonathan. They were a good pairing. And then I know that McKenna had Victoria, and they were kind of a pair. And then I knew, like Jonathan was like able to have different relationships as well, and like he had others on the tribe, but I wasn't aware that like Kyle and Mike were very close at the time, and now watching back is like, what? And sometimes I like watch it and I'm like, I was so stupid and like missing all of this. So but to answer your question, Jonathan and McKenna.
Did you have a fear of going after Victoria and that affecting you and McKenna's relationship, since you thought that they were close?
I did not. I thought we could work as like a 3, because like I know that they've like discussed on like we don't want to vote out like another woman, because like a lot of the times the females are voted out first, and like I didn't want that, and I wanted to work with them, but like logistically I was like, okay, but she is like the weakest, and if I want to like continue on, like if I want to keep going, like I know that I could work with McKenna, and like I could get like we could work with Jonathan as well, and then like keep that going. But it just was like something needs to happen, otherwise nothing's happening, and no one's throwing out a name, at least on my end. And then like one of the times then I heard like Elijah threw out McKenna's name, and so then I had to go, like I was talking to her being like, hey, this is like I heard Elijah throw out your name, I don't want that, but like we have this other plan. And then there were other conversations without me apparently, and my name was brought up. So
all it takes is one time sometimes in
yeah,
these scenarios. Yeah. And a big
for
thing,
sure.
you mentioned it earlier in one of your answers, is that at the beginning of this game, everyone was together before the tribes were split up. Was there anybody that you got separated from that you wanted to work with more? Or
I
like,
was hoping, yeah, like I didn't really talk to a lot of people, because the weekend that happened, it was my brother's wedding, so like I was kind of busy in that in my personal life, but like I was able to have connections and like conversations with people, and like I got good vibes from Will and Parker, and like I enjoyed those conversations, but then like then when we got into our tribes, then it's like, okay, these are some people that I could work with later on, maybe. And then finding out that Will was close allied with Nick, and all that Nick going, like the Nick thing going down. I'm like glad that I wasn't on that side for that reason, but then also like now like looking at it, it's like maybe I did want to be on that because that's not me, and so like my name's not floating out there. So no, but I was definitely talking with like Parker beforehand, and then we got split up, and it's like, dang it. So
I think you and Parker would have done really well if you had gotten put
Yeah,
on the same
those would
tribe.
be like that would be like the most mellow conversation ever.
Yeah.
Like Parker and Micah trying to decide who to vote out.
yeah, I would have loved that, but cards weren't in our favor.
Yeah. So if you hadn't gone home, I think it was either Mike or Victoria were the only people that got votes.
Yeah, I voted for Victoria.
Mhm.
And then I'm not sure who voted for Mike, but
A lot. So what happened was Mike and Kyle came up with, this is just for Micah is watching the episodes. This is just almost immediately right after the episode aired. We just
Yes.
had issues with scheduling. So to explain, what happened was Mike and Kyle came up with a plan very late to vote you out. And Mike, they left. They were going to leave Jonathan out of it. He got told
he
the plan by
somehow
someone.
picked up on it,
Right.
which I heard about that afterwards.
And then Mike told Elijah last second that he was getting all of the votes and to use his 50.
That's why he played his 50 coin. Yeah.
So he played his advantage. And then he also voted for Mike that in case you were supposed to be throwing, or someone was throwing a road vote, and then it would have been tied, and then Mike would have been safe from the wheel or like the rock situation. So yeah. And then Elijah got, 0 votes, and
yeah.
So
the advantage because like I knew that they had an inclination of Elijah having the advantage. So, but
Yeah.
So
Let's say Victoria goes home. What is your plan of action moving forward? Like, I know you mentioned McKenna and Jonathan. Are you hoping to keep you guys together through to the merge if you can make it?
I think so. Like, I know that like it also depends on like how we do in the immunity challenge next time. Because let's say we don't win again, I still would want to work with Jonathan and McKenna, yes. After let's say Victoria is in my place instead of me. And maybe then it's a 3-3 split. But then I like now watching back as well, the other episodes, finding out that Mike wanted Elijah out, and then also Jonathan finds him as a strategical threat, which he was, which I wish they brought that name to me. Like I wish. So like I think that would have been good. So no, I would have wanted to keep working with them as well. So
yeah. Those are both really strong players, so it's a good choice.
Yeah, I know strong players when I see them. Like I know who could get me in trouble and be like, this is a risky move, and kind of like, I could see myself aligning for it. Like, as McKenna has said, like I can trust him, but not in the long run with Mike.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's kind of that situation where it's like, okay, maybe 1 or 2 rounds, yes. But how long could I actually work with him? Like until another door opens up for me, kind of situation.
Yeah, that's true. It's always a hard line. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just to say, what I find like really interesting about your boot, Micah, is that it was like you said in a call, it's in the episode with Jonathan and Mike. Jonathan basically asks you like who you want out, and you say Victoria, which I don't think they really genuinely cared about, honestly. And then what you did next was then say, I would do Kyle after that, which I think to Mike was like, okay,
that was the red flag.
We can't, like, if we get rid of Victoria, who's willing to vote with me right now, and then who knows what could happen if Kyle's a possible target. And obviously you mentioned it earlier, like the tight bond that Kyle and Mike developed pretty early in the game,
Yeah.
which was pretty well hidden by the two of them. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that was the downfall. And it's weird because how often does like the second target, like how often is that the motive to get somebody out, or like a secondary or a future vote? Yeah. So
and we actually saw a confessional from Jonathan where he was saying he wanted to get Victoria out at this vote. So there were a lot of people who weren't necessarily planning to vote you out leading up to the tribal council.
Yeah. Because I don't like, I remember like in like afterwards, like finding out like Jonathan didn't know about it, but yet he like picked up on it and still voted for me. Like I was shocked by seeing all Micah's besides the Mike and the Victoria that I did. And so I was like, what? So I felt like a little betrayed at that point. Because like I felt like I had some good allies, but I realized I didn't have a number one or a number two. I just like felt like I was in that group. So that, and where I'm seeing like now is they had number ones with them. They were in a close group. They found closer alliances than they considered me. So
yeah, they basically considered you more of it's not like they didn't want you around or didn't feel like you were an asset. They just considered you maybe a little more disposable to their individual game. So
which is understandable. Like I kind of put myself in that position where I didn't like kind of meet up with someone and be like, hey, I want to work with you. I want to like go far with you. I didn't do that. I just said, yeah, like you would be great to work with. Like I could, like, I want to work with you kind of like, but not further down the line. So I never like made any promises or anything, which that could have affected my game as well. So we live and learn.
Take it on for the next one, right?
Exactly. We're learning for the next line game.
Yeah. Well, I just have my question at the end. If either of you have questions, or I know we asked the cast members. Is that what they're called? The Castaways?
Yeah, just due to timing of this exit, we asked the Castaways 4 questions, since obviously they were a part of the season. And then on Facebook, when we throw up the post, feel free to ask if you're a fan of the show. Feel free to ask questions in the comments, and then when Mike rolls around to it, he can get you an answer. But
I will definitely answer.
Yeah, Morgan has some Castaways questions for us. So,
all right, first question is from Victoria. Sorry to see you leave the game so early. Who did you see as your main ally in the game?
Yeah, I'm definitely sad to see myself go too, Victoria. I wished it was you, not me, but like, congrats on you. I thought that's the thing. I didn't really have a closest ally, but like I felt like I was in an alliance, and so that's what did me. And that was with Jonathan and McKenna, and like I felt kind of close with Elijah. I knew he was smart. So I kind of wanted to work with him, keep him close, but yeah.
All right, next question is from Andrew. If you could have swapped one person from your tribe with one player from Ruken, who would it have been and why?
My question to that is this like this episode, like if they're still in the game, or is it like anyone on their tribe with anyone on my like me? So could I have chosen Nick, knowing that Nick has a big target on him? Let's get him over here on this tribe. And then
I would say anybody from the original starting tribes.
Yeah, and I would say maybe take it from like when the tribes were split. Maybe not like you would pick someone now based on.
Like I wouldn't pick Shea, don't worry, like because he wasn't really but like I would choose Nick knowing the information that I knew. Okay. But let's say I didn't get that option. Let's say it's from where I was left and whoever's left in the game. I would want to flip with Margaret. I think I had some allies over on the other tribe that I could see myself working with. And I could build relationships with, but yeah.
So you would have wanted to flip yourself to the other tribe?
Well, I think that's what the question was, where like, who would you want to switch with yourself to the other tribe?
I think it was saying you could flip anybody.
Oh,
Like
okay.
one person on somebody else on Serpone for somebody who's on Rukan.
Yeah. Maybe if then, with knowing that Mike and Kiley were very close, flipping Mike onto that tribe and then Margaret or Parker onto our tribe, then that could have helped me, because then those two get close together, and then maybe other people on their tribe will see like, oh, they're really like they're communicating a lot of their stories are lining up, where me and Parker is a fresh relationship, no pre-existing relationship besides the pre-tribes. So
it's a good
That's
answer.
a good answer.
Yeah.
try.
Okay, next question is from Greg. Have you tried Bananas Foster since playing?
Greg, Kyle, I am sorry to disappoint, but I have not. I haven't tried it. I haven't tried to make it. So one of these days, when I'm out, I'll go try it. See if they make it.
In one of our secret scenes through Instagram, Kyle is talking about how the only thing he can make is Bananas Foster. And Micah looks just as shocked, if not more shocked, than when he got voted out, because he's like, what the hell is that?
Literally, I had no clue what that was. And when I saw that secret scene, I was like, I forgot that conversation existed.
Yeah.
And still don't know exactly what it is. And I'm like, as I watched it, I was like, Micah, you say something like, I'm right there with you, Micah. Like, I still don't, which is kind of embarrassing, but it's like, well, that's the reality of it.
That's awesome.
So I will try it in the next month. I will try it in the next month. DCP exclusive. I will do it. I'll get back to you guys.
We'll need a review.
Nice. All right, next question is from Elijah. Rank everyone on Serpone in terms of how much you trusted them / wanted to go forward with them.
Okay. Trusted / wanted to go forward without. Okay. Jonathan would probably be my number one. McKenna would be a number two. Then would probably say Elijah, just because he's strategic and very smart. So I kind of want a smart person with me, and maybe that would be a bigger target as well for me, where he's like, oh, this guy's ahead of everything. We got to get that smarty out. It's like, oh, okay. So Elijah, I would then do Mike, and then Kyle, then Victoria. I wasn't very close with Kyle until like 2 days before I went out, I want to say. So I didn't have a real, like, a good relationship with him, but I think he could have been an asset later on, maybe, where Victoria, I felt, wasn't very, like, kind of hurt us a little bit in some challenges, where it's like, okay, I need some equalizers. I can't have this fluctuating all the time. So, yeah.
All right, next question is from Mike. Out of everyone who screwed you over, who do you feel the most blindsided by and why?
Honestly, Jonathan. I didn't see that coming. So like I thought I was closer with him. Like I felt like we could have worked together longer. Because I realize now that he thought I was a strategic, shady player, kind of smart, needed to get me out. I'm nice, but So, but I was hurt by him a lot, where it's like I thought we could have had something to work on. So, yeah.
Yeah, when you get a chance to watch the episode, you might remember you had some kind of spicy final words.
Oh no, I remember I was very heated. It was very heated. I have calmed that. Like I was heated for a couple of days after that because I was like, oh my gosh, why me? I had more gameplay to do, and then so not a good look for Micah. I'll be honest, but we come back.
It's an immediate reaction.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody faults anybody for basically any I mean, it's your feelings. So
like I know it's a game. I know only one person can win, but I was like, I didn't even make the merge. So I was like, that's what hurt me because like I made the merge with Zoomviver, so I was like, what? I did so well, but now where am I? So yeah.
All right, last question. We have another one from Andrew. Why all the beanies? Seems kind of random.
Probably I wore a lot of hats, beanies, because like I had about this length of hair, and like after work I just get like tired of having it like this, so I would wear a hat, and like that's how I was comfortable. So
it was also January and cold.
There,
Yeah.
Minnesota's known for snow and the cold, so definitely.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I think Ian has some questions or a question.
I have one more question from your favorite Micah, McKenna Feeney. She asks, what did you learn from playing the mini that you tried to implement in this game? Also, she loves you, but that's not part of the question.
I love McKenna as well. Prod McKenna. And just to clarify, what I learned in the mini, gosh, I mean, I learned that we had to use a lot of like Facebook Messenger in the mini, where I was before like I did any Survivor orgs, I was like trying to remove myself from Facebook, like slowly weaning it off, and then all of a sudden I'm here, I'm like, oh, dang it, now I have to. So it's like, okay, I guess we're back on it and doing this, but trying to add people just to then like message them directly rather than having it in their pending requests kind of thing. And that, which isn't really gameplay, but it also helps like getting those conversations started. Also, I learned for both games, like I can't be shy to like reach out to someone and start that conversation. Otherwise, like that conversation might not ever happen. So like I get that I can be introverted, where like I don't want to, like I feel like, ooh, let's wait until I get reached out to, but like there are times where I'm like, okay, I need to take action for my own game and kind of like work ahead. So that's what I've learned overall in the org world, even. So yeah. I do know, before we end, there was one other question that I received personally from Jonathan.
Oh.
Yes, he didn't add it to the chat, but I was like, why haven't you said a question in the chat? So he's like, I'm not really good with them, but here it is. His question to me was, who was your favorite player and why was it me? I was Jonathan.
He already knew. Yeah.
He already knew that like I wanted to work with him. And I like, even like after like I've cooled down from my like blind side, like I was like, okay, I'm rooting for Jonathan, honestly. Like that's who I would want to see win. So I don't know if that answers your question, Lily, if you were gonna ask that. But he was definitely my favorite person that I've gotten to know on the Serpone tribe, and just yeah.
That's awesome. I think like what Morgan said, I think you'll really enjoy this episode because in it, Jonathan says, like, Micah, I want to keep him in, because he's like, I want to keep him in because he's good and people know he's good. You know, like he has a good reason.
So then they'll cut him before they cut him.
Yeah. But he, you know, it was not on his at all his menu to get you out anytime soon.
And there really were like 4 different names legitimately out there.
Yeah.
Leading up to that tribal council.
Elijah, McKenna, and me.
McKenna.
Yep. And Kyle sort of from you as well. But
it's like I could see Kyle, but like I don't know because I haven't really talked. So
Mike's like, we got to get Mike out right now.
Done. You threw out my boy Kyle. We're done.
All right. Well, I'm asking a question this season to everybody. It might be maybe the same answer you've given already, but who impressed you from the cast the most? It could be someone from Serpone, could be someone that impressed you from Ruken, maybe just from challenges, but who do you feel like in your 10 plus days in the game, who do you think impressed you?
McKenna, I will say for my tribe, because I knew that this was her first org, but like she was doing so well socially, and I felt like she held her own in challenges, and she was a good asset to our team, and I think she'll go far in this game. And then also from the other tribe, Kiley as well, I thought was a dangerous player because like she's very sociable, very likable, could make it far in that aspect. So it's like I want to work with you, but I know I shouldn't work with you. I should cut like so it was kind of like a but no, I think those two very impressed me on when I first got to know them and got to play with them. So, yeah.
I think those are good picks. I like them. We like to ask if you could round up your game in one word, what would it be and why? It's a big ask, so no pressure.
I have multiple words for my game.
Just one.
Can I do
you can hyphenate it.
like it's like this is one way to describe it, but then this is also another way to describe it. So it's like disappointing, but also like a play hard kind of way, which I knew like knowing Survivor, knowing the game, like you never want to play hard and be that leader, but I was that leader, and that's really what hurt me, where I didn't sit back, I didn't kind of like blend in with the shadows. So but I think everyone was kind of playing that where no one was saying anything, and it's like, okay, we have to make moves, otherwise nothing's going to be done, and then we're going to be like scrambling even more later down the road. So it's like so yeah, disappointing, play hard.
I like it because you were a strong player, but it was short.
Yeah,
for sure.
But definitely had fun though.
Good.
It doesn't discourage me from doing any more long games or any games with DCP. So definitely. That's actually a question of mine. Am I eligible to apply for the next season of Mini for DCP?
Yes. Thanks for stopping in tonight to listen to Micah's exit interview here on Dynamic Character Productions. Next week, it's the same schedule again. Episode 5 on Monday, episode 6 on Thursday, with exit interviews on Wednesday and Saturday again, and then the recap again on Sunday.
Blindside.
It's going to be the same way throughout the entire season.
I hope we shake it up a little bit later on. Come on.
No, always the same.
There might be a twist. You never know. Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. See you next time on here at DCP.